You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein.
Hello, everyone. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Castle Falkenstein. We are not muted, everything works well. Yay, welcome. Happy Friday. Two of our cameras are in the wrong order.
That's probably my fault.
No, it's mine. I forgot to fix a thing when I turned off the fake camera earlier. But hey, it's fixed. So nobody saw anything. It's magic. I'm Simon, Wandering DM. Oof, almost forgot who I was. I'll be playing Oberon, the stuffy Englishman wizard. And with me, I have a cast of fabulous players and a fabulous host. We'll go around the table, introduce ourselves, tell us who you are and who you'll be playing. And we will start with Kenny, right below me.
Hello, my name is Kenny. I am playing Jasser Firit Rogozhin, an actor who is at this after-party ball.
And right next to Kenny is Deirdre.
Buongiorno, signore and signora. Tonight I am the wonderful Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti, who's about to make the stuffy little English gentle wizard. Maybe not so stuffy. It'll be very entertaining.
And right above her is PB.
Hi, I'm PB from PB Plays Inside, and today I'm going to be playing Isolina Atenas Montiel, one half of the lady detectives, trying to figure out what is happening here tonight.
And last but certainly not least is our gracious host for the evening, Chris.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is, our 7th session of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. As we do each week, we'll begin with a recap and consulting the fortune deck, and then after that, we will jump back into our scene. So, last episode on Adventures in Castle Falkenstein, the after party brimmed with stories, mead, and dance. Josea took the center spotlight, directing the action through introductions and encouragements. They connected Oberon with Bricks and Swizzle, tinkerer dwarves who told the tales of Zero X, the duplicator, a fey lord of the Unseelie. They also pointed Lorenzo in the direction of Isolina and the Contessa for socializing tips. Our lady detectives took to the dance floor to interrogate partygoers in their own style, stealing glimpses of the bystanders as they pumped each of their dance partners for information. Oberon learned that the duplicator had been cursed and imprisoned inside a mirror. Where such a mirror resides is unknown to the two tinkerers he was consulting, but the power of Zero X to pull information and reprint it on otherwise clean parchment is well-known lore amongst the fairykin. With little more information to give, Bricks returned to mead drinking and earthquake tales as Oberon politely indulged him. The Contessa gleaned what she needed from Lord Marquez on the dance floor while keenly watching his guards and the crowd. Once her dance ended, she made her way towards Oberon with a scene in mind to cause a stir. Isolina, also dancing her way to information, brought Lorenzo to the attention of Beatrix Cacone, the granddaughter of Lady Marguerite Cacone, matron of Barcelona. Along the way, she angled for information from Enrique while working to set his sights on socializing a bit more. Playing matchmaker may just reap her the dividends she seeks. Once on the dance floor, Isolina waltzed her way into Sebastian del Peralta's life and pulled from his dutiful demeanor additional information about Lord Marquez. All the while, José stayed ever vigilant, noting multiple rose brooches and an unengaged Carolina Morones. When we ended last episode, José made their way to Carolina to strike up an accord in search of more answers. Will our heroes find the true identity of the poisoner before Lord Marquez and his detectives, or before the Promethean Society does? Will they team up with one or more of the organizations looking to solve this mystery? Where is poor Santi Ramirez, and just how much mead did Bricks imbibe? Find out more when we rejoin our cast as they continue their performance on New Europa's stage. But before we draw back the curtain and rejoin our curious cast, we will consult the fortune deck as we do each session. What do the cards have in store for our inquisitive players tonight? Tonight, unlike the 3-card help, hinder, harm that we've done in the past, we are going to answer a question. Players, I tasked you with deciding amongst yourselves who is going to ask a question. Does someone have a question for the deck tonight?
I have one. I thought we each had to pick one, and then we'd
can do
ask you
that,
for
too.
questions, but
Mm-hmm.
I have one.
Okay. Yes or no? Yes or no question.
It's a yes or no question.
Okay.
Are y'all okay if I go ahead? Is Disselinus' poisoner among us tonight?
Ah. Let's see what the deck has to say. Hearts. Hearts is a strong yes. 5 the power card. I would say not only is the poisoner amongst you tonight, but they are a powerful adversary. One that it will take all your skills to identify. Does someone else have a question?
I have one.
Okay.
Will we be betrayed by someone who once helped us?
Ah. Is betrayal afoot? Ah. We got clubs. Clubs is an unlikely card. 6. 6 is one of the divine cards. I would imagine that it is unlikely that the fates that have brought you all together would let someone that you once trusted betray you. Does the Contessa or Isolina have a question for the deck before we begin?
Nope.
No?
No, not tonight.
Well then, with no more questions and answers being given pretty clearly, we will return to the ballroom of the after party, where the praises of the cast of Titus Andronicus, who just finished opening night at the Gran Teatro del Liceu of Barcelona, revel in their victory through wine and brandy and some refreshments, but mostly wine and brandy. We return to the scene where we have our lady detectives dancing and Josser making their way across the room to one Carolina Morones, who seems to be politely mingling while watching the scene.
So, as Josser approaches, they'll try to notice if Carolina has a drink.
She does.
Is it refreshed or is it empty?
I'd say it's about half. Maybe a little less than half.
They'll take a stab at what it is based on the color and bring a bottle of what it likely is.
It's dark red, so it's one of the, you would guess, one of the drier red house wines.
Yeah, and so I'd bring a bottle of that and walk over and say, it looks like you have a small need. And I'll hold up the bottle.
Oh, why thank you. José, correct?
That is correct.
Your performance was quite riveting.
Oh, merci, you are too kind.
For a while?
I'm sorry?
Have you been performing for a while now?
Oh, yes, I have been performing for at least a couple of years.
Well, it shows.
Thank you. How are you this evening? I see that you are staying off to the side a bit.
I'm curious. I got some interesting invitations and wanted to see what they may provide.
That is fair. I only caught but a glimpse of you the other evening. Of its way.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. And I figured it would be good to get to know you a little bit better.
You will notice that she is wearing the yellow rose as a boutonniere.
I see you received my gift.
Oh, was this from you?
Indeed.
There was no calling card. I apologize. Otherwise, I would have thanked you when you approached.
Oh, it is no problem. I figure some mystery is fun.
Yes, mystery is quite fun. Though fatal mysteries are not near as much fun. I hear
No,
that the murderer of Lord de Salinas is still at large.
they are in fact at large as far as I know. It is a consequence of so many people being in the same space at the same time that someone was murdered, I figure.
He was quite the interesting fellow, wasn't he?
That is to say the least.
It's a pity that we did not get to talk to him.
I, for one, am a little bit thankful.
Ah.
But let us. Would you like a dance? It is so much nicer than just standing.
Ah, yes. A dance would be lovely. How about, the new song is coming on. That sounds lovely. Do you mind if I lead?
I would prefer it.
Ah, excellent. And she will take Josser by their hand and move toward the dance floor.
Josser will go and await for the physical cue
Okay.
of what kind of dance that Carolina would like to do.
She'll begin a traditional waltz at this point. Something that she feels is comfortable enough that both of you would be able to get in time with quickly.
Okay. So Josser will follow. Isn't this such a lovely party? I am so happy that you had it in your time to come.
It is quite a lovely party. After the invitation, I was intrigued. Honestly, I didn't expect anyone to want me to stay in Barcelona for much longer. I figured you all may have thought I meddled enough in your whatever it was that you were doing.
There are a lot of hands moving in and out, but who is to say who is meddling and who is helping?
It's fair. In the spirit of friendship, as you extended, I will admit I was definitely meddling. One of my jobs was to disable that machine, and so I did as much.
It seems that there has been a little bit of overlap, but the machine is well and thoroughly disabled.
Yes. And its power source no longer in the country.
If I may ask, what was the power source?
Some sort of magical perpetual motion machine that when activated correctly would energize the machine and spin the gears. I
At
don't
this
know.
talk, like Jacer's eyes kind of glaze over just a slightly bit, maybe a little sparkle in the corner.
She will smirk at that and say, it's more technical than even I like to get into. I have a natural knack for taking things apart, let's say. And I leave it to people like Father Korsakov and probably your friend. What was his name?
Lord Oberon?
Yes. Oberon Winters. He seems to be the type that likes to see how things work.
Indeed, from what I know and have experienced with him. However, things of that nature might be better spoken about with him rather than about.
Fair. I don't know too much of the details. Just how to remove casings and pull things apart so they don't work anymore.
Well, it is fortunate that you were there then.
It's what I went there for. Took me a while to find it. For whatever reason, For whatever reason, I didn't think that he'd hide it somewhere like the basement. Nor did I think it'd be so big.
It was surprising and impressive, to be sure. But if you are only there for the machine, did you know that you would be murdered?
No, I was hoping to talk to him. First, I had to find the machine, though, because you never... I don't know about you. I never like to have a conversation with anyone if I don't already know the answers to the questions I'm about to ask.
Apparently, neither did he.
That is very, very keen of you.
If I may be so bold as to ask, did he have information on you?
No, sorry. No, I was not one of the people for whom Lord Salinas had inquired. Though if he knew of my presence, I'm sure that he would have asked.
I feel that I really have enjoyed this dance and this connection. Will you be in Barcelona for a while?
Depends on if things are interesting enough to stay. And if I'm not called away for more important duties.
That is fair.
Did you see the weird brooches on the waitstaff tonight?
I did notice. I was curious about them myself. Are you aware of their province?
Not really. I overheard some mention of a ruby red brooch at the party, but beyond that, no.
And have you ever encountered such a thing before?
No, usually, if I were to see something like that, it'd be some sort of indication of belonging or a theme. But I didn't see a theme to this party that would indicate red roses, which these are all red brooches, or red rose brooches.
Oh, that is quite fascinating.
Had they been yellow, I would assume they had something to do with the flower I received.
That is fair. Alas, it was an abundance of gifts that I received that I figured I should share the friendship.
Well, I appreciate the offer extended.
Perhaps you should speak with some of my friends. the Contessa may have some more information around the red roses.
Well, she is after the tailor of my dress, or so she brings up each time we speak.
I will look on, like, positionally on the dance floor where things are, and if I see the Contessa, I will say, if you will allow me, I will lead for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, the song will slowly come to an end, and you'll notice that the Contessa has parted ways with Lord Marquez and made her way towards Lord Oberon, and Isolina has begun scoping out the action of what's going on as she finished her waltz with a more detective-esque gentleman.
So Jasser will angle to meet up next to Lord Oberon and the Contessa.
Okay. As that's happening, let's go to Isolina. Your dance has ended with Sebastian. You note that the Contessa was dancing with Lord Marquez, and Jasser brought Carolina to the dance floor. What is your next move?
It was during that dance that I noticed. Somebody noticed. I just put a star next to it in my notes. I didn't say who you told it to. Maybe it was all of us. Who knows? About all of the ruby red brooches around.
Mm-hmm.
So having finally noticed, noting that, I will do a typical middle school move. I am going to like walk from where I am the long way around and stand a little bit away from like the drinks and things, just like standing there like, oh man, no one to dance with, what a shame, one of those, and see who will pop up for a dance. But while I'm standing there like being a little bit exaggerated about the fact, I'm going to make note of everybody I see with the red brooch.
Okay. As you take up your new position as a wallflower, you will notice that it seems to be isolated to waitstaff of the hotel only.
Of the hotel, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're at a hotel. Obviously, I read the invitation very clearly. So we're going.
Yes, it's the hotel that where the actors will stay until they find more permanent residence within the city. They are a patron of the Gran Teatro del Liceo in that manner. They don't give money, they give services.
That's fair. Okay, so they're all wait staff. And is there any other like moniker on their like clothing to show like who they work for? Did people have uniforms back in the day?
Not especially. I mean, there's some uniformity to what they wear, the color of it, how clean it is, how pressed it is, that sort of thing. But it's not a traditional uniform in the sense that we think of today. So probably more like catering staff does.
Okay. So I guess since I really can't identify that, I'm gonna see if there's anything, if I recognize any of the wait staff from the staff that I saw at the Desalinas place.
You do not.
Okay. Well then. Let's see. I guess they're the exact same brooch I saw before at the party, correct?
It is similar, but from your position, just on your base looking, you probably can't tell any differences. Did you want to concentrate on it in particular?
Yes.
As in play a card?
Yes. And if necessary, I will just go up to one of the staff
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
ask them inane questions.
That works too.
What is observation? Diamond?
That would be mental, so that is a diamond. So it's perception, not observation. But yes, a diamond.
What do I want to do? Do I want to go for big money? Or do I want to save the big money for a bigger money moment? And big money. YOLO, right? I played a character named YOLO yesterday.
Oh, that is big money. You will notice from your position with the red joker that it is similar in its make, but it is not studded with rubies. The way that the lights dance off of what you see, it is enamel-backed glass. Made to look similar to what you saw, but clearly to anyone with a trained eye, that is not real jewelry. It's costume jewelry. You can even tell that it's hastily made a little bit. As you kind of shift your position as one of the waitstaff walks past you, you can note some of the solders. As the metal was, brought together for the stem and the leaves, it's a rushed job. I wouldn't say a sloppy job, but definitely a rushed job. You think that these were made in haste? Maybe even recently.
Maybe even recently. Interesting. Were made in haste, and it's costume jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
I have some questions for one of the actors.
Any of them in particular that you'd like to seek out?
Someone who I heard talking about the background workers of the theater, the backstage people who do the costuming, the prop workers, that people, everybody. Oh, I'm very educated. I know all the names.
No worries. So the the lead costumer is not there this evening, but you will note that the people who work backstage with the lighting and such typically seem to congregate near Swizzle. Bricks and Swizzle kind of run that show there, and they, like hangs out with like in many cases, and this is one of those circumstances.
Okay. So I will go over to them and ask them about who very directly who made these brooches. They're very interesting.
Swizzle will look at you and say, brooches? Where?
Yes, the brooches on the waitstaff. I thought it was a very interesting a decision to make based off of the play.
Swizzle kind of leans forward and squints at one of the staff as they walk by and flags another one over, and looks carefully at the brooch. Says, I don't know this brooch, and turns to the others. Do any of you know this brooch? No, not I. And they all look a little confounded, and Swizzle turns back and says, it's not one of ours.
Oh, that is interesting indeed. I thought we were going with a theme. So I thought the red and the yellow was a little bit clashy, but to each their own.
Yes, it does clash a little. Though I like yours, it's live. Live things make me happy.
Yes. That's a lot to unpack there. Yes, it is I did quite like it. It's a shame you cannot repot such a beautiful thing and have it grow once again.
This is true.
So interesting. Well then, I guess I wonder if the owner of the catering company is a fan of the show of Titus and Andronicus.
I would imagine he's or who is it that runs the catering part of this place? Good question. But I'm sure that they are fans. I mean, they host our after parties every show, the opening night after party at least.
Oh wow, how unbelievably generous of them to give
They
this.
are one of our patrons.
I definitely have to go speak to them, see if an investment can be made. I'm sure my family would be happy to continue to support the arts, at least in this way. Oh, that's a good question. Have you ever seen them be so thematic before? The wait staff?
No, this is kind of different. Usually it's just normal attire, and to be honest, most people are too drunk to care.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe it's a different company. I mean, do you recognize the staff?
Yeah. They all look the same to me. But, tall folk, I'm always looking up at you. I see more of inside your nose than I do of your eyes, so...
Yeah, that is fair. I tend to see more of your hair than anything else, but it's nice hair, so I do not mind.
I appreciate that.
Well, fuck. That's very interesting information. Well, here's a toast to the show, to opening night running flawlessly and being amazing.
You'll, as you toast, you'll hear Brix, who's sitting on the table nearby, to the show, as he steals Oberon's glass of mead again and drinks it and puts it back down in front of Oberon.
To the show. And I will very daintily drink my drink.
Brix is a little tipsy at this point, literally, and almost falls over as he tries to be dramatic and sneaky all at the same time, which is really not in his skill set.
No, but he tried. It's adorable nonetheless. I am going to leave them to their own devices.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna go back and keep looking at the dance floor and look over to the Contessa, Josea, and Oberon, and Carolina.
Okay. They're all near you because Oberon's sitting by Brix, and the Contessa has made her way to him, and Josea and Carolina are making their way now there as well.
Okay, and I will definitely come in on the conversation, I'm assuming midway through, after all of my sneaking.
as you move to drop eaves, let's turn to the Contessa, who has come up upon her date for the evening, who's been enraptured by the stories of earthquakes and mostly placating a partially / mostly drunk Bricks who enjoys sitting on the table.
Signore Oberon, you owe me a dance.
I do? I do.
You do. You do. Signore Dwarf, is it alright if I borrow your fine companion? He owes me a turn around the dance floor.
Aye. Yes. He owes me a drink. And he takes his glass and finishes, Oberon's glass, and finishes it.
I'm glad he could fulfill his obligations to you.
Not like he had much of a choice. He's a good sport, though. You can tell that his eyes don't really focus very well as he kind of points in your general direction.
I haven't been able to drink a single sip of that mead.
That's okay, I brought you a glass of red wine.
Good. And I'll down it.
Social lubrication is important, but you don't want to be sloshy.
I can handle my wine.
I'm sure you can. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given it to you. But, do we see Jacer and Carolina approaching?
As you turn to head to the dance floor, you will see Jacer approaching.
So, do we wait for our fine guest, or do we take a turn around the dance floor first, Signore?
I will follow your lead.
In this case,
They're not that many steps away, though.
then we'll just wait. And it'll be fine. Apparently somebody wants to talk to me now. Smile, darling. It'll be fabulous. Yeah, no, not like that. Don't do that. Don't ever do that again. Just don't do that. We're not trying to scare anyone and make them think that you're a murderer.
Did somebody say murder?
Oh, just say.
There
No.
have been too many.
No, we're just talking about how Bricks here can definitely murder a bottle of mead.
It is true, I have seen it many nights.
But
Do not invite him over, ever. You will not have a bottle to break.
I mean, I almost want to send them to my brother-in-law. It would be fabulous. I would be entertained.
It would be a good story.
Oh, it would be a fabulous story.
But you have been introduced, but let me have the honor of reintroducing Lady Carolina Morones.
Signorina Carolina Morones, this is my very dear friend, Lord Oberon Winters.
Good to see you both again.
Indeed.
We had a very... Oh, sorry.
No, I just muttered, good to see you too.
We had a very interesting conversation while we were moving around the floor.
Always the best conversation. Well, the second best conversations happen on the dance floor.
Would you mind, Lady Carolina, if I divulge some of our words?
Yeah, go right ahead. It's the least I can do after violating the breast pocket of dear Oberon there.
I thought so somehow.
Well, he does have a thing about him, doesn't he?
Kind of.
It seems that... oh, God.
She's just gonna wink at Oberon for that one.
It seems that she and her friends were tasked with destroying the machine.
But that does lead to the question of who gave them that task.
That is an interesting question.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, it's very simple. You knew of a machine that was providing blackmail and you didn't tell the authorities in the city that you're currently residing in?
Oh, well, as much as I do like Lord Marquez, and I do like him, genuinely, you can't always trust politicians with magical means to learn secrets.
I would have stopped it. You just can't trust politicians. But sure, you can go on with be more specific if you wish to.
Well, I don't know who here may be friendly with politicians, so I do try to choose my words wisely.
You can be friendly with a politician and still not trust them.
Very
I do
true.
that every day.
I know. The Promethean Society takes it upon themselves to curtail certain types of happenings in New Europa.
Interesting.
The other interesting thing to note is that Lady Carolina had no information stolen.
So you weren't properly invited?
I'm typically not the type of lady that waits for an invitation. I believe the Contessa can understand where I'm coming from.
Frequently. Although they did check a list. One wonders how one got onto that list at the door. Just purely for professional curiosity.
How one got onto it, I wouldn't know. I do know that the front door isn't the only way inside a building such as that.
I very rarely use a back door.
I'm more comfortable with it. My station doesn't require that I be seen all the time. I understand why you would not have such liberties as readily available, though.
But I'm so gorgeous to look at, aren't I, Oberon?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Good answer.
As I was telling José, in the spirit of friendship and all, I am sorry that I meddled in whatever it was you were doing, but our task was clear and our timeline was short.
The one query that I still have is whether or not you have any insight into the killer.
I wish I did. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary because I wasn't watching people. I was in different parts of the building looking for a machine, which thankfully you found.
It always pays to look for a bottle first.
I will keep that in mind.
Also, knowing the general layout and size and shape of a building that's where you can also gauge the size and shape of what is missing from a building that size.
Indeed. Next time I'll have to start at the bottom up rather than the top down.
Or just see what is publicly shown and what is missing from the not so public. But if you stop... I do have a question for you, Signorina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should assume. I've been assuming. Signorina is correct, no?
Indeed.
You aren't one of those who are wearing... You've never worn a ruby red rose brooch, have you?
Not that I can recall.
Such a shame that someone with your face and your dress decided to wear one at the party the other night.
It would have clashed horribly.
Indeed.
Not sure I follow, though.
No, I mean that quite literally. Somebody wearing your face in that dress. that you wore.
Oh, things got mighty interesting.
Indeed. Almost as interesting as the brooches that are wandering around this room.
Yes. I've noticed them too. Especially when Joser made mention that they stood out as different.
Hmm.
Am I the only one here who would like to know how you stole 20 minutes from our lives?
I was going to wait and ask that question when we were in a more private place, but sure, go right ahead and do it here.
Jocer's eyes glaze over.
I did nothing of the sort.
No, that
Then-
was the good Monsignore, correct?
Indeed. He has many talents.
His
Something
precision
to
with
do
time.
time and travel and other mumbo jumbo.
This is fantastic. I'd have to have a chat with Father Korsakov.
Well, that could potentially be arranged. I believe he's somewhere in Brussels.
That is mighty far in such a few days.
Well, he did take the fastest form of transportation.
Ugh, I hate flying.
Teleportation?
I don't know. He doesn't tell me about it. Him and his assistant, they have their way of doing things.
Hmm. An assistant. I should get one of those.
Definitely.
I mean, I assume it's his assistant. There's no family resemblance for it to be a child, though he is young and a little odd.
I'm going to tell you right now, Signorina. It's probably not a child. At least of his, biologically speaking.
Fair enough. I've seen strange enough things that I try not to make assumptions anymore.
It's not an assumption or being... Well, let me rephrase that. It's entirely possible that it could be a biologically speaking child of his that did not involve the normal means of procuring a biological child.
You say procuring as if you were to buy a child on the market.
Well, most people buy a bride, so I'm assuming the two go together.
Would anybody care for some more wine?
Oh, certainly, just
Jocer, like, since the buying a child thing started, they were looking for an out.
And Carolina just smiled and said, "That is another name for a dowry now, isn't it?"
When you look
What?
at it that way, yes. So if you were here and Father Korsakov was here, was also Mr. Talbot here by any chance?
No. He hasn't been in Barcelona since, well, Marquez got upset with him.
And this Promethean society of yours, is it just the three of you?
No, we have a number of agents throughout New Europa.
Ah.
We typically work together on jobs, and we have contact with a handful, but we try not to keep everyone networked. It decreases the chance that people like the World Crime League or other such more nefarious groups don't have a way of using one to find everyone.
Very astute.
You really must come to my hotel. We can have a much more frank conversation there. I mean, there are some conversations one wouldn't want to have in public.
That is true. This is technically public, though with the amount that's been imbibed, there's not a whole lot of recollection that'll be going on anytime soon.
Oh, Signorina. don't you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're not the only ones who are listening. And she nods to the waitstaff, who are stone cold sober.
Well, at that mention, Oberon would like to look around, play a card if I can, to see if we're being eavesdropped on. And
Go
like,
ahead.
It's perception, right?
Yep, diamonds.
Diamonds.
Diamonds. So I'll go with this.
Excellent. And you have a good
I have an average.
average.
So I think 4, so 13.
13. You don't seem to note anyone that's eavesdropping. You will note. Let me see here. I will play that just to burn it. You will note, though, that one particular waitstaff, as you're looking about, seems to be, how shall I say, circling around Lord Marquez.
Ah. Do either I or Carolina see this?
Carolina's back is to where Lord Marquez is. You think maybe personal or on purpose?
Mm-hmm.
So she does not. Do you have good or great in perception?
I have good in perception. I mean, I can play a card if you want me to. I mean, she is actively looking at the waitstaff too.
I understood. I think you'd need to play a card to be able to pick up on this one in particular. As there's there's a dozen waitstaff moving about.
Yeah. So that's a 9.
Okay, that's enough to push you close enough where you would pick up on. One person seems to show up often around Lord Marquez. You don't quite get the circling bit that was picked up on by Oberon, but you're like, hey, that person's paying extra attention over there.
If you would be so kind as to excuse us, Signorina Carolina. Seems they're playing our song, Lord Oberon.
Our song? I don't recognize this.
She's going to lead him in. Can I do it? Please, can I do it? Can we be that anachronistic?
You have the floor.
She's going to turn and...
I twerk.
Not going to happen. Good try, though. She's going to turn and just kind of drag her hand across, starting at Oberon's shoulder, her right hand across his left shoulder, and then drag it across his chest, and then turn and spin in the middle of the room as a tango starts.
Okay, the player...
How afraid are you right now?
Well, the player is afraid because the player has never danced a tango before. So I have no gosh darn clue as to how this is supposed to be danced. Is it the one with the, flower in the mouth?
Yes, but that's such a not real thing. Positive for you, a tango is, luckily for you, one of the wonderful dances where most often you just kind of stand there and act as a vehicle for the lady to dance around.
Okay,
Would you like to play a card?
I will. I would like to play a card.
I would like to play a card because, I suck at performance.
You guys can team up, and then you add your scores together and take the lowest heart of the two of you.
Do you have a heart?
I have a heart.
Okay, then you'll have to play it.
All right. So I will play the lowest heart I have, which is a 6.
Okay.
Now +2 for my performance,
And 4 for... So 12.
Yep.
That's respectable.
Yeah. And she's going to intentionally lead Oberon across the floor, making making a to-do to be seen as she can, and leading him across the floor in her turns, going back and forth, but each time she spins out, she steps back a half step closer so that they come back and forth towards Lord Marquez.
As this begins, would either of the rest of the party like to turn this into a distraction of sorts, make it a bigger deal by adding any of their skills to draw attention to the two dancers?
Oh, I wish I had a heart. But what I will do is, when I hear the song come on, I'll look towards the dance floor, and I will observe the goings on, paying particular attention to the wait staff, and I will play that to do so.
Okay. So you're going to put your efforts into watching the wait staff is what's going on. Excellent. Isolina.
First, I know the names of these, whatever these are. The Clove, the 3 man. Wow.
Clubs?
You
Club?
sleep for 1 hour and suddenly you forget everything. The 3-leaved one. That's the
clubs.
The club. That's the clubs. Oh, the other one's a spade.
Mhm.
For reasons. I know that the clubs is the like physical one, right?
Mhm.
What is the spade?
That is social. So social graces. What other kinds of things fall under there?
Like a check and
Your
stuff like that?
connections.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
I thought that was hearts. Man, you think you know something in this game. Okay. I just had one of each and I just didn't know what they were. I will hear the song and I will see that like glint in the Contessa's eye, and I'm like, and I see her dragging Oberon along, and I'm like, oh boy. But this should mean that there's going to be enough opportunity to look at things. So, man, short-term memory is a great thing that I wish I had. We talked about, I wanted costume jewelry. Carolina talked about things. I was standing pretty much right next to them as this entire conversation went down.
Yep. You were eavesdropping exquisitely and heard everything.
During my investigation, and you were just talking about, this is why I write everything down. What was the last thing you guys talked about?
We talked about how the wait staff could be eavesdropping.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, eavesdropping. Oh, the person that's orbiting Senor Marquez. That's what my brain stuck onto. Thank you.
This is
So,
not.
as you guys are making a sort of scene there, I'm gonna start walking over with like, I'm gonna see the like how this person is like once they noted it, or clocked it or checked it, whatever. I would have started paying attention to sort of like the pattern they were going around him.
Mhm.
And I am, once he's in the right place, in between, about to approach in between me and Sebastian, I'm gonna like sort of start swaggering over, catching Sebastian's eye as
Okay.
like the song is starting. and I'm almost like, hey, let's catch another dance sort of way. But as I'm walking, I would like to trip into this person or bump into the orbiter.
Okay. So let's see here. Let's go with probably something physical to be able to do so and make it seem like it's accidental. So it could fall under athletics or stealth or probably one of those two.
Let's see. Well, I don't think any of those as a stat, but I can play a card.
Then they'd be average. So
Yeah.
adding a club.
Club is only the one, right? No,
No, club is the 3.
Man, you can tell I never play cards. All right, so yeah. Here you go.
Oh, that's a good club. Excellent.
Yeah, I'd like to like make it like dramatic, as in like it could look I could have just gotten hurt, to concern Sebastian, and maybe even the person I accidentally ran into, whoever they may be.
Okay. As this is going on, Jasser turns and watches, and you'll notice that a number of those around Jasser kind of take note, and they turn and watch as well. There is a charisma about them that just attracts people to follow along. And as that is happening, and the Contessa's leading Oberon to the dance floor, and they begin their tango, we will see Isolina circling around towards Lord Marquez and knocking into the orbiter, as we shall now call them, and spilling their tray. It only had a couple wine glasses on it, but they were empty, as though they were picking up empties, and they clatter and clang. The orbiter catches them very deftly and keeps their footing as a waiter turns towards you. Slim build, but male presenting, and says, are you okay? A little older, middle-aged.
I am which one would be the easiest one to sell? As that happens, I will hold on to the wrist in which on the side I bumped into the guy in, almost like, ow, this hurts a lot, ouch, and clutch it in that way. And I'll be like, I think I might have hurt my wrist, but are you okay? The orbiter.
Yeah, yes, I'm fine. Let me get you something for that, and they'll move away quickly.
Did I notice anything of interest when I bumped into them?
You did. You noticed that their rose brooch had one stone missing and looked of much higher quality than the others that you saw.
I'm gonna be like, as he like is starting to leave, I'm gonna be like, this was the he, right? Not the other guy was them. It's like, oh, senor, are you sure you're okay? And I will reach out with my other hand, just like to hold him off, not restrictive or anything. It's like, are you sure you're okay? That was a lot of. Are you sure you're okay? That was a lot of glass. Are you sure you did not hurt yourself, cut yourself? Are you sure nothing fell to the ground? And I look down, like, dramatically, like, oh my gosh, it hadn't occurred to me that there might be glass all over the floor now.
As you present that way, you notice that they quickly retrieve their themselves from you and scurry off with an inhuman deftness as they make their way out of the ballroom, almost with a mad dash. Before we go any further, back to the dance floor. The Contessa and Oberon.
As she spins in close and kind of one of the points at which she's spinning or stepping or side to side around Oberon, she'll say to him, "Will you be able, Signora, if we get out of this room, to track that rose again?"
The brooch, you mean?
Yes, the one with the magic and the rubies.
I can try.
I can provide we're going to provide a slight excuse. Now, I know that this is not really your thing, but at the end, can you dip me?
I can try.
Don't worry, I'll make it look good. And then once we're done with the dance floor, I'll excuse myself to get a drink and make a very public exit out one door, and you make a slightly less public exit out the other, and everyone will think we are, leaving for other reasons.
But what other reasons? I mean, all the drinks and all the people are here.
Oh, darling. There are things you can't do in public on a dance floor, no matter how beautiful a tango looks.
And it is a lovely tango the two of you are dancing. So much so that the crowd, for the most part, is paying attention to you. Save for Josser, who seems to be scanning things, and Isolina, who is up to her own machinations. And one Sebastian del Peralta, whose attention seems to be split between Isolina and Lord Marquez, and now a fleeing waiter.
Do we notice the fleeing waiter?
I'm going to say you notice the movement of the fleeing waiter, but not all of the details, as there's some concentration necessary to help Oberon sell the tango.
Yes, it's entirely possible. She can multitask, but it's still going to be multitasking. Like that gentleman who just tried to run away from the room, he might be easier to track him. And to do that, we need to be not in this room, right?
Right.
But if we exit the same way the gentleman exited, won't they
We're not-
believe that we're going to...
Going to exit the same. Well, we're not going to exit together the same way. It will look very obvious that we're leaving together, but we're not leaving together.
And there's a spin.
How can people keep track of this?
It's what I do, darling.
As she lifts your chin so you're looking a little more regal rather than thoughtful. And then brushes your cheek, dances around you.
Lets her hand linger just a touch too long and completes the spin.
Mm-hmm. To the other side, coming back to return for a lovely crescendo of a dip. And as the song ends and you go to make your move, a woman rushes in. Lord Marquez! And she bursts through the crowd and beseeches Lord Marquez. You must find him. You must find my young Santi. I haven't seen him in over a day. Something's wrong. I just know it. And on that note, we will take our break. Thank you, everyone who's been here for the first half. Enjoy the intermission, which will last about 8 to 10 minutes, and we will return to see what all the commotion is and if they can pursue the fleeing waiter.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes, everyone. And we're back, everyone. So where were we?
We were in the middle of the dance floor. The tango had ended. The two of you were about to implement your exit stage left and right plans when a woman burst into the room and pushed her way through the crowd toward Lord Marquez, beseeching him to find her lost Santi.
Senora, we saw Santi earlier today at the performance.
You did? Where? What performance?
At the
Theatre del Liceo.
yeah, that one.
He was there?
Mhm.
He hasn't been home in over a day.
Well, he said he was going to come to the party tonight, so I'm assuming he's going to be here shortly.
This is good news.
Yes. You look, and she'll kind of start walking her way over to the lady, and you look very upset, Senora. Why don't you come with me? We can sit and we can have something, get you some water so you feel a little bit better, and start looking over her shoulder, still playing the, I would rather be hanging out with Oberon, but I'm going to do the good thing and lead this lady out and get her something to drink.
Okay.
Intending to show that for the audience that she wants Oberon to follow.
Okay.
Whether Oberon understands that or not is a different question.
Oberon stands there and just says out loud, so are we not to leave together now?
She'll laugh at that and says, no, you can come along if you want.
And I will. Saunter along.
The woman thanks you and at the same time turns her head over your shoulder. She's a bit shorter than you and says, Lord Marcus, find him. They've seen him, but find him, please. I just know something awful has befallen him. A mother knows.
But of course, Senora, of course you know. And Don Fernando is fabulous at his job and would of course be looking out for the young Santi.
Lord Marquez, of course, does chime in. Yes, of course. We will find him. And he'll snap his fingers, and you will notice both Enrique and Sebastian and two of the wait staff make their way toward the front door.
Did those wait staff have brooches on?
They did.
Police in disguise.
Yes. But not all of them. Senora, why don't you sit right here and have yourself let me get you something to drink. She's gonna put her in I'm assuming if we leave the ballroom, there's little
Lounge area, yeah.
Yeah. To just kind of sit her down in and make a show of going to get something to drink and just also make a show of grabbing Oberon's hand.
Okay.
To kind of pull him along with her.
You make your way out to find something to drink with Oberon in tow. What?
Senor.
Before we go any further, what are our two onlookers doing at this point? Our sentries, Isolina and José.
As the waiter ran off, I gave a very significant, very significant, no doubting what I was telling him to do, or what I was suggesting to Sebastian, and I gave a significant look at the waitstaff person who was running away. and then Santi thing came up, whatever. But like that was the thing I did before the mom came in, and then so at least he hopefully clocked the person, if nothing else.
He did
And
make note of who you were gesturing towards, but you see conflict on his face.
well, yeah, duty, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that, oddly enough, I know a free agent just hanging about tonight. And so I'm gonna turn my head, as I'm sure this waiter's like, "Oh, your wrist." Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna look over and try to catch Carolina's eye,
She's paying attention.
and I give her a look that's sort of like, "Are you interested in having some fun?"
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the door, and where this guy went.
You will see her move towards a different exit, but she moves quickly.
Never one for the front door, this one. And I'll then look over to Jose to see where he is going, where they are going.
So Jacer, upon Santi's mom entering, will probably stay to watch how things unfold. Like they know that they personally invited Santi to the party,
Mm-hmm.
but they also know the evening is wearing on a bit, and so that is kind of going through Jacer's mind. And then with what happened with Isolina, I think once they see the Contessa and Lord Oberon move off, Jacer will move towards Isolina to regroup.
Okay. So, in your observations, which was the primary act that you were doing before the commotion began, you will note that most people are taken either with the dance or somewhat surprised by the commotion that started with Isolina bumping into the orbiter. You also pick up on the that character, for lack of a better term, their movements. Their movements are effortless. They move quickly. They move with a very light step. And they seem to... It's almost as if their movements don't fit the body that they're in. I don't know if that makes any sense, but they move swiftly. Their gait doesn't seem right for their height. They're just little things like that that make it seem like there's something off about this individual beyond the fact that they may have murdered Lord de Salinas.
So Jacer will approach Isolina and say, there has been quite the eventful happenstance just now. Were you able to catch a glimpse of the person who ran off?
In fact, I got a very good look at this person. In fact, they seemed very concerned when I touched them, so much so that they ran. But it has been such a traumatic moment, and I look over at the waiter, the old person, and I will be like, will like start shaking off his like like, oh, blah, 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 rest, whatever. I'll be like, oh, I think all I need is just some air. Do not worry about me. I'm sure you will need more work now that your fellow co-worker has just run out.
Most likely, but I really don't know who that was.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, so there's only, actually 9 of us that were working. Then the 2 detectives that came in and said they had to dress like us.
Interesting. And just one more question before I leave. I was a little bit curious about why you all chose the brooch tonight.
It was given to our manager and said it was a special request of the Lyceu.
Very interesting. Thank you so much. I will now go out and get some air with my good friend José.
Let's just go.
Okay. And which direction do you go?
The same way that Carolina would come out. Or I'm assuming you know a way out of here, José, from the back.
Yeah. Perhaps. So with the movement of the crowd following Santi's mother, probably out the entrance she came in, because everyone is going to be kind of focused on her.
So that would be out the front.
Yeah.
That'd be the fastest way out. You're correct.
And I do give a significant look over to the Contessa, just so she knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm sure we'll reconvene later.
Yeah, the Contessa would have caught your eye as they were leaving the room.
And off we go.
Did Lord Marquez exit as well, or are they still in the room?
About this time that the snap of the fingers happens and the 4 detectives and Lord Marquez make their way out.
Okay. Yeah, José would try to get his attention.
Mm-hmm.
Monsieur Marquez, just one moment.
Yeah. Yes.
I see that you are very busy, and I respect that. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Let me know if you think I can be of any help. I feel so bad that Santi has gone missing.
I will indeed let you know if I can use your keen observations. For now, just keep in mind the things that you've noted here tonight. I may need your memory as well.
Do you know how to find me?
Indeed, I do.
Just drop me a letter then.
I will.
Thank you.
And he will make his exit. He and Enrique will actually stop by the lounge where the Contessa and Oberon and Santi's mother are now all seated. At this point, you've returned with drinks. What did you do when you went to pick up water or whatever you were looking to procure?
Well, she wanted to find like just some random drinks and bring them back quickly and say, why don't you just sit right here and breathe for a moment? Let me get Lord Marquez for you. And she's going to try and leave her there and get Marquez and catch Marquez's eye.
As you go to do that, Lord Marquez will actually show up.
Ah. Signore. And she'll like get really close so that she's almost whispering in his ear.
Mm-hmm.
Signore. She's a little But equally as important, you didn't drink anything, right?
Who, me?
Yes.
Nothing that I cannot handle.
No, more importantly, you didn't drink anything from the charming gentleman that ran out of the room.
I don't believe so.
Is Sebastian there?
No, it's Enrique that's with him, actually.
And she'll turn to Enrique and say, "Do you have a doctor?"
Well, yes. Are we in need of one?
Well, considering a gentleman just ran out of the room who was acting as a waiter and spent a lot of time dancing around your uncle, and poison seems to be the method of the day.
I see where you're going with this. Lord Marquez will kind of straighten up a little bit and say, I think I will have a seat and have a conversation.
Sounds very important, right? Why don't you sit and have this wonderful conversation with this charming lady? I'm going to see if we can't find some other things that we can help you with, right?
Right.
And she'll turn to Enrique and very pointedly turn to him and say, "Nothing else, right?"
Nothing else?
He's not going to drink anything else.
Oh, yes. No. I have to get to the physician. I will return.
Who is his bodyguard?
Sebastian is outside. I'll send him in.
She'll wait for Sebastian to return, and is it actually she'll look him over and see if the Sebastian who returns is wearing a brooch.
Sebastian who returns is not wearing a brooch.
All right. She's already convinced that there's so much crap going on that she's paranoid, but she's very good at being so.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll ask Sebastian if Enrique informed him of what was going on.
I've been briefed.
Good. He doesn't eat or drink anything, and she doesn't, well...
They will be fine.
Good. If you'll excuse me, I need to freshen up. Oberon, come help me with that.
They'll raise an eyebrow at that. Sebastian will.
Yes.
She'll just smirk at him, wink, and kind of drag Oberon out of the room, out of the area.
Oberon, what are you doing while all of this is transpiring?
Has Oberon seen the rogue
And
waiter?
you're muted.
Of course. Have I seen the rogue waiter run out?
You would have seen the movement, not specifics as to whom it was. You were concentrating on not stepping on the Contessa on the dance floor. But the commotion was something that definitely caught your eye.
Would I have seen the way they ran away to?
The direction?
The direction, yeah.
Yes.
I think while this is happening, and it's just a hunch from what happened at the Desalinas' estate, I will excuse myself just for a moment. And I'm gonna scooch over in that direction that this person left. And I want to cast Detect Magic, or Sense Magic. I want to see if that person has used magic in the last couple of hours.
Okay.
Or at least if magic was used within 100 feet of that point. Which I'm hoping, the way I'm mapping the ballroom out in my mind is I'm also encompassing a part of the ballroom by standing where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You would be, yes.
Okay. Because this is... Huh?
And the Contessa was just going to guide you further out of sight so that you could do that.
Yeah, I figured, but this, this commotion that just happened might be the perfect diversion for me to do it. So, may I?
Indeed.
All right. Do you need the base DC for it?
Yeah, go ahead and give that to me.
All right. It's 8
Okay.
and a heart.
Okay. And we are gonna bump that up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Your target, in this case, due to you've seen it once before, but at the same time, measures were being taken. So we're going to go with a target of 16.
16. All right. So I have the magic deck here.
Mm-hmm. Pull your first card, please.
A 9 of heart.
Oh, excellent. You power that up quickly, and you'll see, as you saw before, power start to swirl in the air as you're drawing it from different places. There's not a direct source where you're pulling your energy at this point. And it will start to coalesce into an orb in front of you, and then it will poof. And it's like this mist you start to see as it drapes over the area, clinging to little bits of things. Anything that you had on your person that was magical in any way. Anything that, other objects that may have had some latent magic, older items that may have come into contact with other wizards, and footsteps. They have an thermographic sense to them in your vision.
Okay. And are these by any chance the same footsteps that or do they go in the same direction that the waiter just ran out to?
They do.
I'll take note of it, and I'll turn to the Contessa and say, if you would, I think we should exit this way for the thing.
Yes, darling, we're going that way. And she'll kind of guide him out. Make it look like she's guiding him, but she can't see where they're going, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
This time, no. It's not
Yeah.
visible to anyone but him.
Okay. So she would make it look, link her arm with his and just kind of make it look like they're going the same way, that they're going.
Okay.
And she would say, impressive, signore. Very impressive.
Oh, this was but a very simple cantrip. Something I learned when I was just a wee boy.
And yet I've never had no ability whatsoever, so much more powerful than me.
Well, I mean, we all have our strengths. You see things in people. I see magical things.
It's fascinating.
I can also manipulate objects at a distance and turn my finger into a flame.
The flame is entertaining. I hope you don't intend to, light things on fire. Well, at least,
It's a simple parlor trick. I can... Well, you've seen me do better stronger magic before.
All of it is impressive, Signore.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. The credit goes to my mentors and my teachers. And years of hard work. Mainly years of hard work.
Once you learn a skill, it's all about application and making sure you keep using it till it doesn't stagnate.
And you see, that's the thing with magic. You try to not use it as much as possible.
Different skill, I guess. Is there anyone following them? You're muted, Chris.
Not that you can see.
Okay. She's gonna keep following, but she's gonna lift her hands intentionally to her hair and pull out the pin and shake her hair a little bit, or pull out the pin in the rose and kind of hold them in her hand, shake out the hair a little bit and put it back up, but put the pin in the other direction and have a little bits of pieces coming out of it, as if she hastily put it back up.
What?
Alrighty. So, are you going to try and maintain the cantrip, Oberon?
Yes.
Okay.
If it allows me to see the footsteps, yes, I would.
Okay. I will need another card from the top of the deck.
Yep. The next one is a 10 of club.
Okay. You start to feel a bit of angst, like they're getting away.
Damn it. Are the footsteps fading? Or
Not
it's
yet.
just that they're putting some more distance?
They seem to be putting distance. This feeling inside you is starting to well up that if you don't hurry, you may not be able to maintain the spell long enough. They may get too far away.
I would need someone who's a better runner than myself.
Well, I can definitely run if that is what you need, Signore, but I can't see where I'm going. Only you can do that. And you're fine. You did this much, no?
Yes, but they're running away.
But this time, the Josser and Isolina make their way to the front as well. All four of you are at the front of the hotel.
See, we have more people to help us find.
One street in particular.
I'll just point to that street where the footsteps are heading. And I'll turn to Isolina and Jacer and say, they went that way.
Oh, that is nice. But I do believe we have someone else that is possibly began the tracking. And I will. I guess we should just keep on going. I'm sure that's where Carolina is, anyways.
It's about that time that you hear an awooga as a car pulls up. It says, coming along.
Seems that our ride might be here.
And
Ron, I think you need to be in the front.
steam-powered automobile. Jacer, it looks oddly familiar to you.
Yeah.
You're pretty sure that she's hijacked one of Lord Marquez's vehicles.
Yep.
I would go up to the car and I'll just like slide a hand along it as I walk past it, admiring it as I get into the back.
It is
It seats
quite-
4 in the back and 2 up front.
It is quite luxurious, I assure you. Though I do not know how happy Lord Marquez will be with you, but the time is fleeting.
I'm sure that's exactly what she wants.
Perhaps. Oh, go ahead. Perhaps with me in your company, the retribution will be slight.
Oh, I'm not worried about Marquez. I like giving him a reason to summon me for an audience. Keeps me on his mind.
There will definitely be an audience, I am sure.
The Contessa is just sitting there going, "Yep, this is something I'm going to use, and I'm going to know exactly how I'm going to use it. Thank you very much." Oberon, you're in the front.
I sit shotgun.
All right. As you load in, and she'll pause and look at Oberon,
This way.
and then she will take off. And the vehicle actually is quite spry, sprier than Jose remembers. And you all kind of jerk back a little bit as it moves. And she says, "Come quick with the directions. I don't believe we have much time."
No, we do not. Do I still see the footsteps, like at the speed that we're...
You do. They're a bit more less defined. But you do see them. Pull another card for me.
Sure. The 3 of spade.
Okay. You'll be able to keep your concentration. There is a little bit of a halo around the footsteps, as they aren't, like I said, they aren't as well defined, but they're still there. Not as vibrant in color, but still clear for you to be able to notice.
All right, and I'll give the directions to
Okay.
to Carolina if they turned over here or keep going.
You'll be able to guide her toward a road headed northeast from Barcelona. And you'll make your way out of the city. It's about that time that you can see on the horizon, moonlit horizon, a rider on horseback headed away from you all. I need another card pull.
Ooh, the King of Hearts.
Ah, excellent. You're able to maintain, and that halo seems to be radiating from the rider.
It's him. It's that person over there, the rider.
Well, it looks like we're about to be able to test out how much horsepower this vehicle actually has.
Hopefully more than one.
Carolina presses the accelerator and goes to close the distance. As the vehicle pulls up behind the rider starts to move to the shoulder of the road and then off into an adjacent forest and ducks through the forest. This does not stop Carolina, who does her best to follow the rider.
Everyone hang on.
We're off-roading in an 1870 car.
Yes.
I just look over to Giselle and I'm just like, and like with just like a almost probably the biggest, most real smile you've ever seen on Isolina's face. Just like, this is fun, right? She's fun. We should do this more often.
I prefer riding in something on the road, or if I have to be on a horse, But, Signorina Carolina, you wouldn't happen to have a firearm on you, would you?
2. Why do you ask?
It's a lot easier to have a conversation if the gentleman is no longer moving.
It's true. My hands are tied up. Someone want to fetch it?
Where is it?
Bustle?
Well, you're not
She
wearing a
went to the
bustle at the
door.
moment.
I know, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't even know what a bustle is.
But I know what a bustle is. Where's your firearm?
The small of my back.
All right, I'll reach in the small of her back and
He
pick
will
up the firearm.
produce a small caliber, long-barreled pistol.
Anyone know how to use this?
I
can-
do. I say as I take up my own firearm.
Well, then
More
here,
than
have
one
a
is
second
better.
one.
Do you want to try that side, Isolina, and I'll try this side?
Absolutely, I will.
Jesse is discreetly grabbing at straps.
You can brace yourself quite fine in this vehicle, Jesse.
So the Contessa is going to assume that the windows roll down
Indeed, they do.
and lean out of the left side of the car and let Lisalina go out the right side of the car.
Oh yes, mine's already down. Mine was down a long time
yeah.
ago. We were going. I was like a dog. I was just like looking outside.
This is a lot. I really need to get this. Okay. And she's gonna take a shot.
Okay.
Oh damn.
Marksmanship.
Yep, which she is average at, but she's looking to not necessarily kill this guy, but wouldn't hurt if, he just was really, really badly hurt. Was she?
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Or if she has to, she wants to stop them, so she can't get a beat on the rider. She'll shoot the horse.
Okay.
Feel bad about it.
It happens. Let's see. Oh, of course, I would have write down what marksmanship was. Which one is marksmanship? What?
It's a spade, I think. It's a
Physical.
physical. I thought
Yep. Marksmanship is not spade. It's clubs.
Clubs.
it's
Physical.
clubs. Yeah, physical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a club. Okay. Well then. Well, I don't have a club. Are these individual checks or?
Yes, they are individual checks.
All right. So let's just get rid of a car. I'm average on this also.
Okay.
Courageous though, if that helps me out at all.
It will definitely help for you wanting to stick your head out of a moving car as she's weaving through a forest.
The Contessa's kind of like got one arm out and one arm in, and just like holding on to the inside of the car.
I'm
Okay.
just like in no fear, all out. Just like
more to steady herself on the shot because she doesn't think that Carolina is a very safe driver.
it's probably why I'm missing my shot because I'm just all out.
It's possible. The car is weaving this way and that way to dodge trees and stumps because there is no road here. There isn't really even a game trail that can be discerned. It is, nighttime through a forest in the countryside of Spain.
It's the best part. Never get to see the forest in this manner.
It is actually really nice looking. It's very pretty.
I can't imagine that you would normally get to see this. Yes. The shots fire, one from each side. And one of them seems to make an impact. The rider reacts. But from this distance, it's really hard to tell what happened.
Did they stop?
Nope. They did not stop.
Is there more than one bullet in this gun?
Yes, it is a revolver.
She will shoot him again.
Okay.
Remember, we want them alive.
We want them alive, yes, but it's a lot. They're getting away.
I will shoot in a direction so they don't go that way. Like some of the more wooden parts, the parts that would be harder for the car to drive through.
Okay.
I'll shoot like they're in that direction to at least spook the horse to not go that direction.
Okay.
That's just another wasted card.
I wanted to ask the DM a question.
Mm-hmm.
How common knowledge is the fear of cold iron? Because the Contessa only really uses folk stories like that. So if it was something that would be like a folk story or something.
Yeah, I would say it's a folk story. But I would not say that the Contessa would have any knowledge of whether or not it's been verified.
Oh, not whether or not it's verified, if she has heard that story or not.
Your education is good, yes?
Yes.
I would say between that and some of the other parts of your background, that folk story would have been something that she has heard before.
Carolina, these are iron bullets, right?
No? Why would I be packing iron?
Give me the other gun.
Just like fling it over to you.
She's gonna take another. You have iron bullets, right?
I mean, I didn't really think about it. Do I have iron bullets in this gun? What are the chances I have iron bullets in this gun?
Lead is the most common bullet due to just ease of molding.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you have thought to have anything different?
Well, I'm wondering because I am the daughter of two tinkerers.
But how martial are they in their inventions?
I think it's more of how many side projects do they get distracted on to pass the time.
Fair enough.
If we had an excess of any metal, and nothing to use it on at the moment, or they were just curious, I think they would have.
I can say this much, that there is not an excess of cold iron in New Europa. It would be a fairly coveted and carefully used item. That I can tell you with certainty.
Oh, that's such an interesting way to put it, though. A coveted and...
I mean,
how rich
I have a question.
is easily, that's my question now. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, mine was, could I try to cast confusion on the horse? It says it staggers an enemy. Could I stagger the horse?
You could attempt to do so.
Because, I mean, I don't need to keep Detect Magic on if we have a bead on the person. So Oberon would attempt, while everyone's firing...
Okay.
Oh god, the noise. Try to concentrate.
And the jostling.
And the jostling. Yeah, try to confuse the horse so that it rears back and maybe kicks its rider off.
Okay. You will begin working on that. That spell it's not going to be swift. It's going to take a little while for you to be able to create that on the fly.
Okay.
Mostly because of the conditions. So we're going to give that a couple minutes.
All right.
The swapping of guns, another shot fired, one to distract or kind of, I guess, herd, and the other, were you going to play a card?
Yeah.
With the Contessa?
Yeah, it's not as good, but
Okay.
play something.
All right. And that goes wide.
Yeah, probably. You know, Carolina, you came to destroy an infernal machine that you knew about and you didn't pack iron? Are you sure you're professionals?
We had no intention of killing anyone.
It's not about being intentionality, it's about, contingencies. And preparedness. Being prepared is important. And she's still like half out the car. And she's doing this.
I don't know about your bloodlust, but I don't typically go into a place prepared to kill a fae. They're much more useful to bargain with.
It's not about intentionality of killing anyone. Or bloodlust. It's all about being prepared for contingencies. And I'd much rather,
Stop distracting Carolina. She is our driver through very precarious terrain.
I understand that, but
And on that, I need to know everyone's athletics.
average.
Average.
Average. So the front seats have an open top. The back is more like a carriage. It's, enclosed.
It's like an opposite truck.
Would anybody like to play a club?
I would.
Does anybody have a club to play?
I have a club to play.
I have a very good club to play.
Are we? Is this a group check or individual check?
This is going to be individual to see who flies out of the car or gets possibly hurt when we crash.
I will ditch a card. Just to get rid of it.
I'm playing an ace.
Okay.
I'm gonna play the Joker.
Okay.
And not fly out of this car.
Okay.
Bye, Jesser.
Yeah.
Any Selena. Sorry.
As the twists and turns happen, you see the horse and rider ahead of you leap over something. As the vehicle finds itself with no ramp in the terrain and ends up in a ditch, nose first. The Joker will help the Contessa duck back in and grab a hold of one of the straps to minimize any harm. Isolina makes it back in, but you'll fly forward into Jasser, and the two of you both will find yourselves a little shaken up, a little winded by the abrupt stop that the car came to. We'll consider that the scratched condition, so just make a note of that. And Oberon, you will stop your spell in time to basically grab the dash and steady yourself, so that way you don't go flying forward too much. And as you flip out of the car, you will land on the grassy part on the other side of the ditch. No worse for wear, but a little, I don't know,
Bruised.
jostled.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, on the other hand, is a bit further forward than you are and finds herself having to recover from quite the fall.
Okay, but she's alive.
She's alive.
Okay. Is everyone okay?
That was a little rough in the landing. Is he getting away?
Well, I think they're already too far for us to do anything about.
Yes. Oh, sorry. It's just that I.
No. I was in the way. Yeah. I'm no
Are
good
you-
in situations.
Are you two okay?
You know, you've seen better moments. Sorry that. Only apologize. Just move your leg a little bit more. There we go. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Let me. And she's gonna get out of the car and go around the other side and open the other door to try and help the two of them out.
Okay.
I'm happy I'm wearing a bloody shirt already.
Yes, you are wearing a bloody shirt.
Are you? Is that current blood or new blood?
I believe this is current blood, previous blood.
It is all stage blood.
Oh, that's good. I don't like blood. Blood is okay.
Now I'll actually have an excuse for my wrist to hurt. Oh man, that was rough.
Here, let me help you. And she's just gonna try and straighten you out a little bit, and then go check on Oberon and Carolina.
Okay.
Oberon is looking for his cane.
We just grab a
Shoot.
branch.
Is it still in the car or did it go flying?
Let's find out. I'm just going to deal a random card to myself. We'll say it's near the car.
She'll grab it and bring it over to him.
Good. I think I'm really going to need it now. I must
You're
have
right.
sprained an ankle.
You know, this is why I don't, horses.
Well,
Horses.
At least now people will... well, we'll give them cause to believe that we've had a quite a good rough and tumble, you and I.
We haven't gotten there yet, darling. The rough and tumble comes after. The fun first. And she'll wink at him as she goes over to check on Carolina.
Wait, but wasn't that what we were supposed to make them believe?
I don't do rough and tumble on a quickie, honey.
Oberon is lost. He thought he had it figured out.
You'll find Carolina, tending to herself. There's a tear in one of her sleeves and one of her pant legs. Not large, but there's exposed skin, bloody scratches. She breathes a little more gingerly than what you would normally expect.
All right.
Yes, do you have my sidearm?
Here it is.
Thank you. She'll tuck it back in the small of her back.
Like I said. And she'll go back and put her hair all the way up and redo it. More functional than stylish.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna be over with Josera still like aligning ourselves, and I'll be like, Josera, could you get the zipper? Just pull it down. I can't reach it. Just pull it. Pull it down.
I think Jacer froze.
Oh, Josera's frozen. I thought that was just petrification. Oh no, there he goes.
Ah, okay.
No, you're
But he's muted.
So sorry.
It's okay.
I left at I'm going to go over end.
Oh wow. I'm gonna go over and do my over end? Or the Contessa's over end?
Yours.
Mine? I'm gonna go over to Jaced and we are like realigning ourselves and finding our feet on the ground again. And I'm gonna be like, Jaced, could you get the zipper? Just pull it down. I can't reach it.
Yes, here.
And I'm just gonna take it all off, and on the bottom I'm fully dressed, except my pants are rolled up, in a different outfit, something more boyish or mannish, a shirt and some pants, and honestly something that Oberon's probably seen me in when I was walking along the docks that one night.
Oh, now I recognize you. From between the punches in the face.
I will say that was not me punching anybody in the face. I am still a lady.
No, I meant I saw you passing by while I was getting repeatedly punched in the head.
Who is punching you in the head, and what for?
It's a hobby of mine. To keep myself physically fit. I try
pay
to give.
people?
Huh?
Do you pay people to punch you in the head?
No, I normally give as much as I receive, or I'd like to say that I give more than I receive.
At
You
least
know-
that's not what I saw that night.
You know, there are much more fun things you can do to stay physically fit.
Barcelonians
A
don't
lot
fight fair.
more fun.
You have a lot of work cut out for you with this one.
But it's fun.
Yes. A project is always fun.
I am nobody's project.
No, you are
Oh.
definitely not the project.
Not even a little bit.
This is all very surprising. But can I ask, did anyone actually hit the person who was running away?
Yeah, I did that. Probably isn't going to do a whole lot because, you know, not the right kind of bullets.
Is there any sort of blood or anything around on the ground?
That is not ours.
Not in the immediate area. The first shots, if that's what the Contessa is referencing, would be a ways back, because you guys were moving fairly quickly through the wood.
But nothing trailing.
Not that you can tell. As you are looking about, though, you will see Carolina staring down what is a slope, which is on the other side of the ditch. Sloping hill. And there is a small manor house. That she seems to be staring at. That's flanked by a few trees, and behind it you can see what look like defunct vineyards.
Anybody you know?
Nope. But that's where the writer went.
Good, I
It's
won't
in-
have to try to track him.
Isolina, which lands are these? Who owns them?
I'm gonna look around, like try to figure out how many twists and turns we took, and like what general area I know or is around this forest wooded area. Would I know any of the landowners or who owns lands in this general area?
Let's
Or like
go ahead, and what's your connections at?
Is connections its own thing?
Mm-hmm.
Education, perception, the check, social grace, courage. Nope, I do not have connections.
So that'd be average. Do you have any spades that you'd like to play?
That one, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
the one that looks like a shovel.
Yes. I can play that.
Oh, excellent. Yes, these lines were abandoned a while ago when during some of the skirmishes between different nobles and whatnot, this particular family left. They just up and left. Some believe they moved to France. Some say that they left actually across the Mediterranean and went to Greece instead to get away from all of the turmoil in the political climate. This would have been 15 years ago. It's said to have been empty. No claims have been made against it. It's a small plot of land. They weren't a very an overly wealthy family. Some say that it's haunted. Others say that the Cocons are keeping it empty for one reason or another.
The Cocons?
Lady Marguerite Cocon is the regent of the area around Barcelona.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought like you meant like she owned it now or something.
Well, if it's unclaimed in the area, they are the guardians of it. I wouldn't say owned it.
Okay. Ooh, that's a fun card. I do and I do not. The people who lived here left a while ago. A good while ago. And there is a rumor and a half of who leaves here or who doesn't leave here or why it's empty or why it isn't empty. It depends who you ask. So no one really has a claim to this. It is, as far as I know, abandoned.
Okay, so that puts out option A. Hold on a moment. And she's gonna like lift her skirt and bustle the sides of it just above the knee.
I'm gonna leave my dress in the car. Just gonna place it in the car. Just like nicely fold it. So it has the least amount of wrinkles when I come back to get it.
I mean, it was a very nice dress. It was very stunning on you, darling.
Oh, thank you very much. It did cost quite a pretty penny. It better look nice. Okay, well then. We are all okay? Jose, Oberon, Contessa, Carolina, we're all okay?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen better days, but I'm okay.
We need
Also
to press
that.
on. We can press on.
Yes, you should press on.
Yeah.
Discuss the plan
Onwards.
as we walk.
You know, there is always option A where I make a fainting scene about how I was in a car accident and need everybody's help. And somebody comes around and hits them over the back of the head. That's always a good one.
I mean, we don't
the-
know what to expect in there.
We do not know how many there may be,
And
nor what really their motivation.
Oberon, can you tell how many there are if you use your, ability to see magic?
It only goes so far. I would need to be very, very close to the house. And they would need to have used magic within the last 24 hours.
All right.
I think that any ruse would be out of the question because we have been present for them to know us.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, well
So,
then.
Sneakiness, then.
Why?
And she'll glance over at Carolina and say, "That's on you. I don't go through back doors."
Well, there's not a back door anywhere near here. I say we just walk for a while and then worry about how we're going to enter when it's time to make an entrance.
You make an entrance the best way as possible, with as many eyes on you as possible.
Oui.
And she'll just start walking down the hill towards the house.
As the group makes their way, a little battered, a little bruised, but wholly intact, down the hill toward the supposedly abandoned manor. We see the moon high in the sky, stars glinting and glimmering, shadows falling appropriately in the places where they belong. And that is where we will end our session this evening. Thank you all for coming. You have been a wonderful audience. And let's go around and give our outros. Simon, take us away.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Thanks for playing. Thanks for hosting. I am Simon at Wandering DM. This is my channel. You can find us here playing role-playing games from Tuesdays to Saturdays, it being either Dark Matter on Tuesday, D&D on Thursday, Castle Falkenstein on Fridays, Pulp Cthulhu on Saturdays, and you can find me over on Soul Bear RPG on Sundays with Chris and Deirdre for Shattered Eye, which is a D&D 5th edition campaign. Or on Monday over on Role Players, where I DM my a D&D game in my homebrew campaign setting of science and sorcery called Age of Arcana. We are, by the way, sponsored by Magen Press. If you would like to go on their store to buy some very, very nice 5th edition supplement, be it the Book of Fae or their new upcoming book, Everything About Taverns. The Book of Taverns, I think it's the name of the book. I don't remember exactly the title of the book, but it's coming out soon. Or if you even want to buy the Dark Matter campaign setting, you can go to store.magenpress.com, and if you use coupon code WanderingDM, you get 15% off. That being said, let's go around the table, outro ourselves, tell us who you are, what you have going on in your lives, what we can, where we can find you on the internet. And let's do the same order that we introduced ourselves, and we'll start with Kenny.
Hi. Oh, no, we're good. Okay. Hi, you can, my name is Kenny. You can find me on Twitter at PunderDrone. I am a part of the Experience Points Network, and we are starting our very new Season 2 of Starfinder that will be streaming live every other Saturday, starting this Saturday coming up, 11 a.m. Pacific, and that would be 2 p.m. Eastern, and the other time math that I can't do right now. So that's going to be happening every other Saturday. And we also will be cutting that into a podcast that releases every Wednesday. And we have another podcast called Q Numenera, which is a Numenera campaign run by at Cormelon.
By the way, thank you so much, Godless Lawyer, for the $5 donation. It is very, very appreciated. Thank you very much. That being said, before we go to Deirdre, it's a $5 donation, so that means that every player get a +2 to their next heroic feat.
Yep. So the next time you go to pull a card, you're going to add 2 to whatever it is.
So we got Deuces Wild.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much. Deirdre, who are you? Where can we find you?
Oh, hey, all. You know me. I'm at Deirdre.Lin on Twitter, or Praxagora Thesmiophora, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. And as for me, I hang out here a lot. I have lots of fun with Simon. Lots and lots of fun. But specifically tomorrow, I'm driving some fine folk mad through the deserts of Four Corners, New Mexico. We're going to be playing a mat early tomorrow. We're going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. Pacific. Go for a couple hours. Everybody will be here, except our doctor. Everybody else is going to be here, and we're all going to go to dinner at the Bradford Ranch. And nothing horrible ever happens at the Bradford Ranch. Nothing whatsoever. And then Sunday, I'm over on Soul Bear RPG for the Shattered Eye with the rest of the Shattered fam, Chris and Simon. And then I'll be Mondays over on Role Players. But check my Twitter. I always post where I'm going to be and all the fun things that will be happening in the future.
All right, and last among our player is PB.
Hi, I'm PB from PB Plays Inside, in which you can find me on Twitch and Twitter. My schedule got real busy real quick in June, so I had to write it down. So on Mondays, I'm going to be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time over on the Greyhawk channel playing The Grove, where we met with some great people like Kika VO, Nometic, somebody from Prism Pals or Prism Pals, and somebody else whose name I can't remember at the moment. So sorry. But that's going to be a really fun game. I can't wait to play. It starts on Monday. This coming up Monday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I stream on my own channel, PP Plays Inside, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do variety gaming, and occasionally on the weekends, I do a creative stream where I do fantasy map making or something else. On Wednesdays, we are continuing some one-shots, at least I think we are, of this really amazing game we played over on Indoor Adventures channel at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. On Fridays, I am here playing this amazing game of Castle Falkenstein, and on Saturdays, I will be with Kenny on Experience Points playing some really fun Starfinder, and our first session is tomorrow, or session 0.
Oh, nice.
At 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's where you can find me these upcoming weeks.
And last but not least, Chris, our host. Thanks for hosting, by the way.
No problem. I love it. This is one of the highlights of my week every week. Thank you all to the audience for showing up and interacting and just being supportive. We love you very much. You can find me here every Friday as the host of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein, and every Sunday, as both Simon and Deirdre pointed out, on Soulbear RPG's channel for The Shattered Eye. Outside of that, catch me on Twitter at Chris Geary. It's the handle right below my beautiful dashing picture, right? That's what we go with. Anyway, thank you again so much.
All right, and before we leave, we're going to go raid our good friend Josh, I think, over on Role Players, who's playing some Witcher 3, I believe, for the first time tonight. And so let's use a raid cry, because we are 13 years old. We're going to raid with the word backdoor, because that's awesome. And we will see you next week. Ciao, everyone.